Hi everyone, this is Salma Shabnam from the Department of Mathematics, St. Joseph Engineering College, Mangalore. In my last video on sampling theory part 1, we have dealt with sampling distribution of means involving cases with and without replacement. So the next step in sampling theory is to make the statistical decisions. So in this regard, these are nothing but appropriate rules that enable us to make decisions about the population on the basis of the information available from the samples. So in this line, we first formulate the statistical hypothesis. These are nothing but assumptions or guesses about the population which may or may not be true. There are two types of hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis is basically the default hypothesis which is based on belief. It is formulated for the sake of rejecting under the assumption that it is true. We denote this hypothesis by H naught. The alternate hypothesis is mathematically the negation of the null hypothesis. So if we were to reject the null hypothesis, we will need another hypothesis which should be the negation of the null hypothesis. Therefore, it becomes the alternate hypothesis. Here we denote it by H1. The procedures that enable us to decide whether to accept or reject the hypothesis or to determine whether the samples differ significantly from the expected results are called test of hypothesis or test of significance. When we decide whether to accept or reject the hypothesis, we might commit some errors. So these in this context there are two types of errors, that is type 1 and type 2 error. So if we reject a hypothesis when it is actually true, we are committing type 1 error, and when we accept a null hypothesis when it is actually false, we are committing type 2 error. The table summarizes the meaning of type 1 and type 2 error. When the null hypothesis is true, you accept the true hypothesis, we are making a right decision. Otherwise, you reject a true hypothesis, you are committing type 1 error. When the null hypothesis is false, you accept a false hypothesis, we are committing type 2 error. When we reject such a hypothesis, it becomes the correct decision. The next is the level of significance to be understood. We need to note that the level of significance is the complement of the confidence level. So we understand what confidence level means first. The confidence level is the percentage of confidence with which we can say that the null hypothesis is actually true or can be accepted. So the complement becomes the level of significance. It is actually the region in which the sample falling is rejected and is also called critical region. So if we look into the normal curve, we see that when we say 95% level of confidence in the first case, or 5% level of significance, then the 95% area is covered by the normal curve is covered by the confidence level, and the remaining 5% becomes the level of unsurety or level of significance, which is also called the critical region. So here in the first case, the acceptance region or the confidence level covers 95% and it ranges from minus 1.96 to plus 1.96. The remaining shaded area becomes the critical region or the level of significance. Next, for 99% level confidence level, the normal curve area covered is 99% by the confidence level, or it is called level of acceptance, and the shaded area is the critical region or the level of significance. Next we have the confidence interval. The confidence limits are given by the formula x bar plus or minus zc into sigma x bar. Here zc is the critical value. For 95% confidence level, we see that zc is 1.96. For 99% confidence level, zc is 2.58. So in this case, we also need to know that sigma x bar is the sample standard deviation, which is sigma by root n, where sigma is the population standard deviation and n is the sample size. for the infinite population. So using the formula x bar plus or minus zc times sigma by root n, we get the confidence limits, and adding and subtracting, we get the upper and the lower limit of the interval. So the table gives us the critical values and the confidence intervals. So after formulating the null hypothesis, the next step is to calculate the z-score, or the calculated value of z, which is nothing but the standard normal variate. Z is equal to x bar minus mu x bar by sigma x bar. We need to note that when mu is equal to 0 and sigma x bar is 1, this value becomes the critical value ZC. Which is 1.96 for 95% confidence interval and 2.58 for 99% confidence interval. Okay. Once we calculate the value of z, then we check whether where this value of z falls. If the value of z, calculated value of z, falls in the acceptance region, that is minus 1.96 to plus 1.96 in at 5% level of significance, or minus 2.58 to plus 2.58 in the case of 1% level of significance, then we accept the hypothesis. If at all the calculated value of z falls in the critical region, that means it falls outside the above intervals, then we reject the hypothesis. We need to note that confidence interval is also called the region of acceptance, and the critical region is also called region of rejection or region of significance. There are two types of tests, two-tailed test and one-tailed test. Two-tailed test is used when in situations when the critical region lies on both sides of the mean of the normal curve. And one-tailed test is used in situations where the critical region lies only on one side of the mean. So for two-tailed test, we accept the hypothesis if the calculated value of z falls inside the acceptance region or the confidence interval, that is minus 1.96 to plus 1.96 in the case of 5% level of significance, or minus 2.58 to plus 2.58 in the case of 1% level of significance. If the value of z falls in the critical region, we reject the hypothesis. In the case of one-tailed test, we have two types, that is right-tailed test and left-tailed test. In the case of right-tailed test, if the calculated value of z or the z-score falls falls in the critical region, that is, if at all the z-score is greater than 1.645 for 5% level of significance, we reject the hypothesis. Please watch the diagram for better understanding. If the value of z is greater than 1.645, it falls in the critical region. Therefore, whenever the value of z falls in the critical region, we reject the hypothesis, otherwise accept the hypothesis. In the case of 1% level of significance, we reject the hypothesis if the z-score is greater than 2.33. It falls in the critical region, therefore we reject the hypothesis. If the value of z is less than 2.33, it falls in the acceptance region, we accept the hypothesis. In the case of left-tailed test, at 5% level of significance, if the calculated value of z or the z-score is less than minus 1.645, z falls in the critical region, then reject the hypothesis, otherwise accept. In the case of 99% of confidence, if at all the z-score is less than minus 2.33, we reject the hypothesis, otherwise we accept it. Next, we have the sampling distribution of difference of means. In this case, we pick up two samples from two different populations or maybe from the same population. In this case, N1 and N2 may be the sizes of the samples drawn. X1 bar and X2 bar the sample means of the samples. Mu1 and Mu2 are the means of the two populations from which the samples are drawn, and sigma 1 and sigma 2 are the standard deviations of the two populations from which the samples are drawn. So here the null hypothesis formulated is there is no difference between the population means, that is mu1 is same as mu2. The Z statistic or the Z score calculated is given by the formula x1 bar minus x2 bar by root of sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. After calculating the value of Z, we check where the Z value falls. If the Z value falls, calculated value of Z falls in the acceptance region, we accept the hypothesis, otherwise reject. Next is the sampling of attributes. The sampling of attributes may be regarded as a selection of sample from the population whose member possesses the attribute K or does not possess the attribute K. The presence of attribute K is called the success, the absence is called failure. We draw samples of size n items, and these n independent trials form the binomial distribution where the probability of success is P. Then the probability of failure becomes 1 minus P, which is Q. So we know that the mean of the binomial distribution is n into P and the standard deviation is root of NPQ. Substituting that in the Z standard normal variate, that is Z is equal to x bar minus mu becomes NP and sigma becomes root of NPQ. The Z statistic becomes x bar minus NP by root NPQ. Using this, we calculate the Z score and check accept the null hypothesis if the Z score falls in the acceptance region, and reject the hypothesis if the Z score falls in the critical region. This is all we need to understand for testing of hypothesis. For better understanding on the topic on this topic, please watch my third video, sampling theory part 3. Thank you. Happy learning.